Good morning again. And so this morning, we're delving into the concept of God is, I am. And these are the first two of our 5 basic unity principles. The first one being there's only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. God, the good, omnipotent. We speak this together every single week. One presence and one power, and that power is good. And the children's version is simply God is. Having the awareness of one presence and one power, this universal essence of goodness, saves us from ever delving into any power other than God. One presence and one power. Yet, there are many things to draw our attention away from God. Distractions, things we give power to, what sometimes are called earthly pleasures, which can sound pretty good. But is it? For some of us, it can be our addiction to the news. We give so much power to the news, and the news only has the power we give it. The news is simply a compilation of what's been organized and sensationalized to bring drama to the forefront. Yes, there is real news like floods and fires and hurricanes and tornadoes and humankind's inhumanity towards itself. But the rest, let it go. Give it no power. It deserves none of your attention. See it simply as your prayer list, that which you encircle with love and light, and release that energy to the universe. Now, the news may guide your higher self towards something that is meaningful, that is yours to do. It may ignite a divine idea, an inspiration, a passion within you. But beyond that, give it no more attention than it deserves. For much of it has been designed to shock you, to grab your attention, to steal your time for higher ratings so that you can then be shown commercials on what you absolutely need to buy. Resist. And the TV, give it no power in your life. It is there for education and entertainment. And do not let the entertainment rule your world, devour your time, and take you away from connecting with others in a meaningful way. Your phone, what a time-consuming culprit is your phone. Have you seen the newer version of the movie Jumanji? The one with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart and Jack Black? So these teenagers have been thrown into a game, and they take on different characters in this game. And they discover someone who has been locked in the game for 20 years, who went in the game as a teenager. So he's the same age as they are in the game. And one girl is absolutely obsessed with her phone. Has anybody seen my phone? Where's my phone? She makes references to it all the time. And finally, the young man who plays Alex, the one who's been locked in the game for 20 years, says something like, does phone mean something different in the future? The answer, of course, is yes. Phones are now handheld computers, and they can monopolize our lives if we let them. They have no power unique unto themselves other than the seductive power of luring our attention. taking our attention from what's happening in the here and now and looking at emails and texts. And I know we need to do some of that. Facebook, photos, the weather, games. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my phone. And I'm consciously aware of how much time I spend and where I spend it. Am I doing research? That's awesome. Am I reading? That's very convenient. Or is it entertainment? And is it really entertainment, or is it kind of a mind-numbing distraction? What are some of the other things that we give power to? Money? How much power do we give to money? How about jewelry or clothing or hair, makeup, our homes, our cars? How much power do we give to how we look to others in our world? Relationships. How much power do we give to relationships, especially the difficult variety? How much attention and power are we to give to those? We decide it is our investment. It's not to be manipulated from us, but to be given freely from us. So knowing that there is one presence and one power, we also know that there is no devil, that there's no separate, equal, or greater power to God. One presence and one power means one, not two, not three, not many, one. And that one power is right here, right now, right where you're sitting, right in your seat. And we are all, each one of us, connected intimately and intricately to and with that one power. This is the most powerfully meaningful to us. This and the second basic unity principle. Our essence is of God. Therefore, we are all inherently good. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. And the children's version of this is simply, I am. I am, the understanding that this very presence, this essence of goodness lives and moves and has its being within me and within you and is expressed uniquely as you and as me. Unity teaches that each person is a unique expression of God, created with sacred worth. And living from that awareness transforms our lives. And it transforms our world. For the more we awaken to our divine nature, the more fully God expresses in and through our lives. We all are, each one of us, created from spirit. We are spiritual beings created in God's image. And the Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. Now, I know this can be a tough one. We look at our world and the people who make the news and we think, even them, even those people, inherently good? Yes, absolutely. At each one's core is the essence of goodness. Now, that does not mean that they might not have ever realized their goodness, or perhaps forgotten and turned away from spirit. Humankind's inhumanity unto itself has been with us from long before recorded history. Some might say we're not the brightest of beings. We don't seem to learn from our history. And at times it feels that we are absolutely hell-bent towards destruction. I know, I said hell. And we don't believe in hell and unity. Actually, we do believe in hell. We just don't see it as a far away, fire burning, consuming, torturous place. We know that we have the power and the full ability to create either heaven or hell right here, right now. And yes, it appears at times that there are those who wish this for our world, hell right here and now. And yet, the essence, the very essence, the very core of everyone is goodness. We have to work hard to stamp out and to stomp out our essence of God. It is always present. It is always there. We try to cover it up with jealousy or hate. We layer it, we poison it, but the essence of goodness is still there beneath it all, waiting to be uncovered, empowered, and revealed and set loose as each one of us. And when we know the stories of others, we can more fully understand how they may have come to be the way they are expressing. Does not mean we condone their actions, but we can understand it a bit. Looking at the I am, let's explore the book of Exodus. It's also called the second book of Moses. Located in the Hebrew scriptures, what we more commonly call the Old Testament. And this is the story where God is conveying the actions to deliver the Hebrew slaves from bondage to the Egyptian pharaohs, and to bind them to himself, to God in covenant. So this story reveals an interweaving of traditions and interpretations. And when we look at chapter 3, we look at this very well-known story of Moses and the burning bush. So Moses sees the burning bush, and his curiosity causes him to investigate, and he finds himself in conversation with God. The Spirit is speaking to Moses about the exodus, or the fleeing of those of the Hebrew faith from Egypt, from their bondage. And we can recognize in this that it is the fleeing, the moving from bondage, the bondage that we set ourselves in, where we give power to something other than God. The bondage we have to our phone or our computer or the news or money, or whatever it might be, to set ourselves free from that. So when we look at the verses in 13 and 14, we find this conversation where Moses asks God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they say, what is his name? What should I tell them? And God says to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you need to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Those two powerful words, I am. Incredibly powerful words. We say them all the time without thought. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm excited, I'm alone, I'm sad, I'm not sure. The words we think and speak after the great I am are incredibly powerful. We are affirming who we are. I remember quite clearly the first time I heard the words I am as a complete sentence. I was in a group, I was new to Unity, and we were in a class, and we went around the room to check in. And somebody would say, I'm feeling gratitude. Someone else would say, I'm happy to be here. Around the circle we went until we got to this one gentleman who simply said, I am. I was confused. I was unfamiliar with the concept of the great I am, that I am is a complete sentence. I am, we are, you are, God is. And that was my first introduction to those simple, powerful words. I am. Say that with me. I am. And God is. Let's say that together. God is. And one more time, I am. I am. This truly is the greatest of Unity teachers. God is everywhere present. God is good. There's only one presence and one power, and that presence is good. And this is what cracked my heart wide open, and that God presence is within me, always has been, and always will be with me, within you, within all. When I now look back at some of the difficulties I experienced in my life, raising 3 children, essentially by myself, as a single mother. It warms my heart to know that God was always with me every step of the way. That warms my heart to overflowing, for there's no place that God is not, correct? So God was there even without my awareness. When I figured out how to pay that bill when the way did not seem clear, that was God at work. That was God at work, giving me inspiration and guiding me. When creativity, when ideas would seem to come from nowhere, from out of the blue, that was all God stuff. I just was not aware of it at the time. The same is true for each of us. We can look back, we can reflect, and we can see that God has always been with us, not requiring our awareness or our attention, only seeking an openness to more fully guide us, to more fully inspire us. Now, for some of us, maybe the most stubborn or headstrong of us, not that I'm admitting to anything here personally, that openness comes to us often when we are most broken. Our defenses are down. We've been humbled by something that life has thrown our way. And that was my story when I found unity. I had lost faith in myself. I was confused and I was hurting. And then I heard the message that the essence of God is right where I sit, right where you are. That God had always been with me, is now, and always will be. And that, as I said, cracked my heart wide open. Now, some of you found unity in joy, not in pain. And how marvelous is that? I'm sure you felt doubly blessed when you heard the message that the essence of God is everywhere present, always present, forever present in your life, not just hanging around you, not just out there in the clouds, but right there within you, closer than your hands and feet, more intimate than your next breath or the beating of your heart. Never, ever absent, never late, constant, reliable, faithful to us, regardless of our sometimes lack of faith in anything. Allow yourself to remember this during this week. Bring these concepts to your heart often. Stop, breathe, quiet yourself. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and see the beautiful expression of spirit before you. We don't do this often. Look at your reflection and look into your eyes and see the essence of love looking back at you. God is. I am. You are. We are. And we allow the awareness to guide our thoughts, our words, and our steps, and all of our actions. We allow this awareness to create a space of love for all beings, to acknowledge their essence of good, regardless of what they may be expressing in this world at this time. We can be that. You and I can do that. I believe it is already so. We are that, and we do that for one another, and we can do that for our entire world, to behold the essence of God. And so it is. Amen. God bless you.